Hey guys, how's it going? It's Janie over here at Janie Sweets, and in this episode I'm coming at you with a tutorial on how I made this soccer ball cake. Now I made this cake a while back for a friend of mine's birthday, but I thought with the World Cup going on right now, it would be the perfect time to release this video. So if you want to learn how to make this cake, keep on watching. So to begin, I am starting out with my homemade fondant that I have a link to the video on how I made this in the description box below. So I'm just going to start kneading it until it becomes soft and super stretchy. As you can tell in the beginning, it was a little hard and it was breaking, but now it's a little stretchier and I can go ahead and start rolling it out on my surface. So this fondant, like I explained in the video, the tutorial video, is extremely sticky, and so I have to use a lot of cornstarch on it, but it's also very stretchy, which is why I like it. So I don't use it in the summer, but in the winter it's an amazing fondant. So just go ahead and roll it out and then cover an 8-inch cake with the entire fondant. So I'm just going to use my hands to smooth out all the seams and then just kind of open it up and then smooth it right onto the cake. So just continue using your hands until you're satisfied with how it looks, and then cut off all of the excess, and you can definitely store this and then reuse it at a later time. It doesn't really go bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and start using my fondant smoothers to smooth everything out. And this little guy I found on Amazon, I will link for you guys below. It is like a 90-degree angle smoother. I don't know what the proper term for it is, but you just kind of run it on the side of your cakes in conjunction with the straight smoothers, and then it gives you a sharper edge without really having to work at it too hard. If I wanted this cake to be like extremely sharp, I would use just acetate sheets, but this worked perfectly for the level of sharpness that I needed. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and roll out very thinly some royal blue fondant, because those are the colors that my friend needed. And then using a Wilton ribbon cutter, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the 1-inch inserts with the straight blades, and I'm gonna cut out just strips of fondant all over. So this is how you use it. Super simple. You can just go ahead and roll that right on. I will leave for you guys a link where you can find this product on Amazon. So there are two ways that I like to add stripes to my cakes. So the first way is I lay the fondant right across, and then using a pair of scissors, I just cut off all the excess at the top. So I'm just gonna glue it right on there with some gum glue. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna do the same thing with some black fondant, but this time I'm gonna use a zigzag pattern. And then, so the second way that you can lay strips across a cake is to start off at the top and then just let the bottom hang wherever it wants to hang. And then once you're done, just use a pizza wheel and then cut off the excess. So I'm just going in between each blue strip, and I'm putting in a black strip. And like I said, I'm gonna cut off the excess and then just remove that. Now this round cake, I made it using a Wilton ball mold or a pan. And I'm gonna leave the direct link of where I found that pan for you guys below, and you just bake it like you would any normal ball, and then you ice it however you would normally, and then just cover it with the fondant. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and remove all of the excess fondant at the bottom. Just make sure that your ball is actually sitting on a circle, like a cardboard round. That's just smaller than the ball, because you don't want it to like collapse on you. It is cake. So just use your hands to smooth everything out, And then now comes the fun part, is to decorate. So I'm just going to roll out some white fondant as well as some black fondant very, very thinly, because you don't want excess weight on the cake or just excess fondant to, you know, just be bulky. And now these cutters, I also found them online. I will link for you guys below. And then what I'm gonna do is just start cutting out the whites and then the black. And starting with the black, I'm just gonna put it right there at the top, and then I'm just gonna circle around it with the white. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm trying to explain. Just cover the cake with some gum glue or water, and then just go ahead and start sticking your fondant pieces all over. So this is what I mean by start with the black at the top and then just work your way around with the white. Just be patient with it, it will come together. And then once you're at the bottom, you can start layering your black fondant. So it will come together literally just like a puzzle. So once you're done, when you get to the very bottom, now because this cake is not completely round, it's a little oval. If you really look at it, it's not gonna all fit perfectly. So what I had to do is go ahead and put the strip of fondant on it and then cut it to the shape. I hope that made sense what I just said. And then once I was done, I just placed it in the fridge to set a little bit, and then I'm just gonna roll out my blue fondant on my board. And I'm using just Crisco to stick it onto the board, and then with a sharp knife I'm just going to cut off all of the excess. Now you definitely can and you should use a ribbon at the bottom, but I actually didn't notice that it didn't have a ribbon until I was completely done with the cake, so you don't see me put it there. So anyway, just go ahead and remove your cake from the fridge and then place it right on there. And then just go ahead and place 2 fat straws so that your top tier does not collapse. And then using some gum glue, just place it right in the middle and then place your top tier right there. So once that was done, I'm going to hide the seam with just some grass or fake grass. So in a piping bag, I have green fondant, green buttercream. You could also use royal icing if you had that on hand, that would be fine. And then a leaf tip. You could find those online, you could find those at any craft store really. And then I'm just going to pipe some leaves or grass, quote unquote, all over the bottom and then right at the bottom of the soccer ball. So once I was done, this is how the cake turned out. All I did is just spray it with some, or airbrush it with just some water so that all of the cornstarch that I use can come off and the cake can be a little brighter and look nicer. So this is it, you guys. This is this week's tutorial. As always, if you click on this annotation right over there, it'll take you to my last video. I am on Instagram as well as on Facebook. All of my socials are at Janie Sweets. Subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss out on any of my future videos. I hope you've enjoyed this week's tutorial, guys. I love you. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.